Hello everyone, once again, this is Warlord and welcome to the War of the Ring channel, and today I'm going to go over my Isengard army, or at least the majority of my Isengard army. So, of course, as you know, Isengard is led by Saruman. If we can get the other epics in here. You have the character Lurtz from the Peter Jackson version of the films, essentially an orc general, Grima Wormtongue, and also another Games Workshop creation. This is Sweden Wolfsbane, but he could be a Dunlingling general. And then you can see the rest of my army. This is about 3,000, a little over 3,000 points. This is 3,310 points. And I started collecting this army, when the original Two Towers films came out. And of course in the box set you had your Boracay warriors, and I kept building up from there. Originally wanting to do a Helm's Deep game for the Lord of the Rings strategy battle game, which I did, and it took about 12 hours to play. So once War of the Ring came out, I decided, I want to try and build an Isengard army for War of the Ring to essentially fight the battles between Rohan and Isengard, because that's where I had most of my models from. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. Me and a bunch of local Lord of the Rings gamers, we are doing a Rohan campaign, and you can follow that on my blog at lotr warofthering.blogspot.com, and I'll put a link down at the bottom so you can follow along with the campaign, see how it's going. But I just wanted to kind of showcase my army today. This isn't all of my Isengard army. I'm missing my Isengard orcs. I just didn't include them. The main reason is because I didn't have the bases painted up, and I really like only using painted bases. Sorry, I know there's a formation over there without painted bases, so I know what I need to work on. If you add up the Isengard orcs into this army, that'll give me almost 4,000 points, and I am debating, and I'm probably going to break down. I'm probably going to buy some Isengard trolls. And I know, if you've read some of my blogs, I said, well, wait a second, Tolkien never mentioned that Saruman had trolls. Well, in game terms, if you want to play points match, I can see why now, having played Isengard several times, why they included trolls. Because it adds a monster to the army, and you can do things with monsters. And if I added a troll captain and a troll, I would have exactly 4,000 points of Isengard. So if I wanted to do a points match game of Isengard against another force, I would have exactly 4,000 points. So yes, I'm breaking down on a lot of things I originally thought about War of the Ring when I first started playing it, but that's after having played the game several times, and I think you'll see that. You'll look at the rules, you'll read them, it's like, well, that doesn't make sense, but once you start playing the game, then it's like, all right, now I understand what they were doing, and a lot of it is not canon. Unlike other Games Workshop games where, they own the, the IP, the international property. The Middle-earth gaming systems are based on the works of Tolkien and, of course, the movie franchise that Peter Jackson has come out with. So that's what they have to work with. And they've also added some things from their own IP from the Warhammer system. And, some things I still disagree with, some things I realize why they put them in the game system. So let me go over formation by formation what I have here so you can take a look. Let's just start out with some of the first models I got. These actually came out with the Fellowship of the Ring, most of them, at least most of the metal ones. And these are Isengard Boracay Scouts. Most are metal. I did go ahead and I bought the plastic box. So you'll see this is a mixture of both the plastic models and the metal bottles. And yeah, there was just no way I could afford all the metal models when the Fellowship of the Ring came out. So I was really happy to see these guys come out in plastic. So it really complemented my army. So if you take a look at their stat line, they're essentially all the Boracay scouts. They have the same stats. They have strength 4, defense 4. They move 7, which is 1 inch more than your average infantry model, so that's a plus. that they have in their favor. They have a 4+ shoot value, which gives them an extra dice, which is good. And they have Courage 3. Now, you notice that I don't have a captain in here. For most of my archer formations, I don't add a captain just because you don't want these guys getting into combat. These are essentially used for shooting attacks. And the only thing a captain does, it gives you, a heroic shoot so you can shoot before the other player. So, moving on down the line. Here you'll see a legendary formation. This is Ugluk and his raiders, Ugluk's raiders. So there's Ugluk, you can see him painted up, chopping off a orc head, as he did in the movies. I don't know if he did in the books, but it looked pretty good in the film. So, and these are essentially the same thing. They're just Boracay scouts. I try and get them all with shields, just so they can have the shield factor in there. So that helps out, because that gives them a defense of 4. So everyone in the company has shields. So if we go down the line, this is Marho's Marauders, and you notice I have the command set in there. So you get a banner bearer and an Boracay drummer, and I only bought one because for me, I'm not too big on these upgrades. I'd rather just have more troops, but kind of for theme, if you want to call it theme, or just cause I kind of like the models, to be honest. That's why I bought them. And going down the line here, you'll see Rasku's talents. There's Rasku there. Rasku is interesting in this game. He has a special rule. If I can find it. Yeah, so Rasku's talents, he has something called Take Aim. It means that you can expend a point of might and shoot in the shoot phase, and this is equivalent to having a shoot value of 2. So when you have a shoot value of 2, that gives you an additional 3 dice. So that's well worth it. So there's Rasku's talents there. Alright, so now let's go over to the other side here. And let's take a look at my Dunlingdings. I have 3 formations of Dunlingdings. One of archers, one of shields, and one of two-handed weapons back there. You notice I also have, for the other 2 formations, I have a chieftain and a banner bearer in each of these 2 formations there. And like with most of my archer formations, I don't include a captain just because it's not worth it. So essentially, they're strength 4, defense 4. They have a shoot value of 4+, so you get an additional dice there. They only have a courage of 2, which isn't all that great. That's why you want to have that Dunling chieftain there. He has a courage of 3, so not your bravest of troops, but it's definitely themed, definitely kind of cool. So I kind of like having these guys in my army. And then in the back there, you have the Wild Men of Dunland, and I think when they were doing the original film, they wanted these guys to kind of like to be the hillmen of the Shawls, or that's kind of what I use them for, because it's all themed, because the Dunlingdon hillmen fought alongside the Dunlingdon warriors at the battles of Helm's Deep, but these guys don't have the greatest stat line. Only fight 3, defense 3, and a courage of 2, and they don't get a captain in their profile. They don't get a captain at all. But all the Dunlingdon formations, they have the Forventions special rule, and if they make a successful charge, their strength value is considered as 5. So that's kind of the one good thing when you have Dunlingdons. You want to kind of rush them up quickly and make sure they get into fights. All right, and so where do we want to go here? Let's go to the Boracay Warriors. You can see I have 4 formations of Boracay Warriors. Actually, 2 formations of Boracay Warriors. In War of the Ring, the ones with pikes, they're called the Boracay Phalanx. And it's the same stats, strength 4, defense 5 for the ones with pikes, because they have heavy armor. The defense 7 for the ones with shield, because you get, for infantry in War of the Ring, you get a +2 to your defense value. With cavalry, you only get a +1, which makes sense because you're trying to manipulate the horse and you're trying to manipulate whatever weapon you have, whether it be a lance or some sort of throwing spear or something like that. So these are essentially the backbone of my army. You can see I have 2 formations of pikes here, and I got another warband here. I need to paint the bases, I know, and these were all the plastic kits. I got the original with the original 2 towers set and kind of built up from there. This is all when I was doing a strategy battle game for Helm's Deep, and you see I try and get the different types of captains. I kind of splurged a little bit on these Isengard captains here, but I kind of like the model, so when they came out with the metal set, I bought this metal set, so they're a little bit more expensive, but I think the model looks cool, which that's a big part of the hobby. You buy things because they just look cool, right? So all right, let's go back and take a look at the Berserkers. I have 2 companies here. You can see I have one model here. This actually came with the I believe it was called the Siege Troops or Siege Pack. It was the plastic kit that came with the ladders in it, as well as the Sappers, and you had 2 Uruk-hai with firebrands. So just to kind of round out my troops, because these are all metals. They were sold in packs of 3s. So I had to kind of fill out these 2 companies here. I originally had 1. But I had additional metal models, so I just went ahead and I just made 2 companies right there. So Uruk-hai Berserkers in the game, strength 6, defense 5. They have a resilience of 2, the same as like in cavalry. They're indomitable and stalwart, so you don't have the Hope is Lost rule where you basically break away if you lose half your models, and also that you are automatically stalwart on the roll of a 6, I believe. So they also have the special rule Headlong Fury. So charging Uruk-hai Berserkers who have a plus D6 bonus dice in the fight phase rather than the +1 when they charge. But the one thing they do have is they have the Berserk special rule, which it could be good, it could be bad. Essentially, you roll on the Berserk table and you get additional dice, or you start killing yourselves. You just have this bloodthirst. So that happened in the in one game we had. The Uruk-hai were charging forward, and they rolled on the Berserk table and they started killing each other. They had such this bloodthirst. So a little bit unstable, but these are definitely elite troops. Definitely what you want to send into the breach there. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at some. Let's look at our this isn't Sharpies. This is Sharpies Ruffians. These are a couple of the metal models. I bought several packs of these guys because I definitely want to do Scouring the Shire using SBG, because that's more a bunch of skirmishes. But I figured that this I could throw them into the War of the Ring just because it's a fun formation to play. They're really worthless to be honest, but I like having diversified army lists as opposed to just army lists that are just designed to defeat the other player. So notice I have a Wildman back there because when you're buying packs of 3s, they don't kind of add up evenly to multiples of 8. So now Chartreuse Hunters, kind of like the Wildmen, they're not that great. Only 10 points per company. Fight 2, strength 3, defense 3. But they all count as shooting, as having a shooting attack. So I mean that's good for 10 points a company. And you can always have a Taskmaster in there as well. All right, so now let's move back. See if I can get these guys in focus. All right, okay, this is Chartreuse Hunters. And Sharku is a character from the Peter Jackson films, but he's kind of a cool orc captain. So they're fight 3, strength 4, defense 4, courage 3, but Sharku has a courage of 4. They're expert riders, which means they can move, shoot, and charge. And they're also prowlers. And they also have the Savage Onslaught special rule. So when they make a successful charge, they cause terror until the end of the turn. All right, and then here I have one of my 2 assault ballistas, essentially siege weapons here. These are good in the game, in-field battles, when you're just playing straight up War of the Ring. I've kind of designed a siege variant for War of the Ring that we're currently using in our system, which I'll probably talk about maybe in a later video. But for this one, siege ballistas, you have to roll in the special artillery table. They can either miss, they can be on target. They have D6 strength 9 hits, or if you get a 6, it's a D6 plus 4 strength 9 hits. So moving down, we have the Sappers here. I've played with the Sappers in the game before, but they haven't actually gotten to combat. In our upcoming game, in our siege, we're going to be using them, so we'll see how they work out. But they have this rule called explosive demise. So when they're removed from play, they explode. Every formation within 2d6 inches suffers a d6 plus 4 strength 10 hits. Now, I assume that means when the company is destroyed. At least that's the way I'm going to play it, because it just makes sense when, you know, one sapper, you know, kind of dies, this whole formation blows up. So, all right, that's the way I interpret the rule. So I have 2 companies of them, and again, these are the plastic siege kits that came out with the Two Towers movie. So I don't know how good they are in a field battle, but you know, for trying to get into a siege, we're essentially using the strategy battle game siege rules. So, and of course, you also have, I can get this guy into focus. You have the Ram, the Isengard Ram. They only came out with an Isengard Ram model, which is kind of, you know, unfortunate. Well, kind of unfortunate because you know, we've liked to see a Mordor siege ram, because you saw in the film they originally tried to break down the walls of Minas Tirith before bringing up Grond. So it'll been nice to see a little addition into the game. So the Ram, it's like a monster, and essentially it's really good when you're going up against a unit in defensive terrain. So enemy formations do not receive defense bonuses from a building or a ruin featured in a fight. So that's what they're good for. And then back here, I think we have my last formations. These are essentially just Warrant Riders. You know, it's essentially with bows. They got the 5+, so they don't get any bonuses for that. But you know, it's additional cavalry to have some shooting attacks. And essentially, that's it. I don't have my Isengard orcs here, like I said, but you know, that would definitely be a lot more models on the table. I got to get to work painting some of these bases. So this is probably my largest army. Definitely, if you include the orcs, this is my largest army. And like I said, I want to get this thing up to 4,000 points. And they're currently featured in our War of the Ring Rohan campaign. So if anybody's interested in following that, you can check out my blog at lrtrwarofthering.blogspot.com. And hopefully in the next few months I'll have some more videos to go through. And then maybe I can talk a little bit more about the epic heroes here, about Saruman, how he works in the game, and also how, you know, Lurtz and Thryden, as well as Grima Wormtongue work in the game. So that'll probably be an upcoming video. I'll probably do that later. But for now, thanks for tuning in, and happy wargaming.